This is the first episode of the year 2019, the year of excitement and joy and other things that are going to be cool. I don't know what 2019 is going to hold in store. It's only January 2nd. And so far it's been an incredible year because yesterday we spent the entire day at my mother's house making tamales and enjoying Mexican food and hanging out with the family. So that was a wonderful way to start the new year. But yeah, a new episode of the podcast. You're very welcome. It's been a while since we've had a new episode of the podcast because the last episode we released was in November of 2018. And after that, shit got very, very busy and very, very crazy as things tend to do around the holidays. So I apologize. We didn't have a new episode, but now we do, and you're welcome. And they are going to be on a much more regular basis this year. My goal, maybe this is my resolution for this year, even though Steph and I talk about how we're not going to really concern ourselves with resolutions. But one of the things that I want to commit myself to doing is releasing like 45 episodes of the podcast this year, maybe more. The goal is one a week. So this is going to be the first one. And then the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. So for this episode, Steph and I sat down at our comfortable couches in our living room and caught up with what took place last year to some regards, as well as, I guess we didn't really talk about where we're heading next year or this year, 2019. It's a fun episode as always. I love getting to sit down and record with my beautiful wife, and you guys are going to enjoy it. I guarantee it. All episodes of the podcast are available at energyislovepodcast.com. That's where you can find all the information for this show as well as any other show that we've recorded. Please go follow the podcast and subscribe to the podcast. 2019 is going to be a big year for the podcast because I decided it right now. And share it with people, right? There's ways to do that. Obviously, we're all familiar with them. And you can find the podcast on damn near every single platform that podcasts are available. So it's very easy to listen to. And if you meet somebody that is not super savvy with the technologies, like Barb, our favorite listener, grab their phone and subscribe to the podcast so then they can listen as well. That's what I do a lot of times. I'll grab somebody's phone and be like, here, this is where you can find it. And I hit subscribe for them. So then they get all the episodes. But enjoy another wonderful episode of the Energy is Love podcast with your wonderful, wonderful guests and hosts and people that do the show, Stephanie and Craig. Here we go.
You're listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
The Energy is the Love podcast.
The Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
The Energy is Love podcast.
The podcast for the universe.
The Energy is Love podcast.
I can distract her, and then she'll look up and we won't hear her for a minute. We can try it again.
No, it's totally fine. It's okay. How old is she?
14?
14.
13,
We're
14.
talking about our dog, Angel. And if you wait long enough, not if you wait long enough, you don't have to wait. But if we're quiet long enough, then you can hear her breathing over on her throne. That doesn't sound right. She has what is that thing called? An ottoman? An ottoman that is positioned directly in front of the fireplace. And that's where she spends 94% of her life.
That and begging for food.
Yeah.
And then it turns into her pouting chair.
Sometimes I sit and think like I like way back when I had my dogs and I like did all the reading and the studying and all the learning of the dogs. I remember reading something about how like they sleep, I don't know, like 14, 16, they sleep all the time. Mm-hmm. Like that's normal for dogs to just be sleeping all the time. And I could definitely be wrong. But now I think about that statistic in regards to Angel, because I feel like that's all that she does is sleep. But I suppose it's normal, and it's a good life to sleep on the ottoman in front of the fireplace.
She's an old girl.
She is an old girl. So you will hear her periodically in moments of silence throughout the episode, you'll hear her COPD kick in. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
It has been a long time. This is first episode of 2019. It's
Yay,
January
good deal.
2nd, right?
Yes.
It's the new year.
There she's snoring.
Yes, there she is snoring. We have so much. It's literally, you and I haven't sat down and wrote, well, because I was looking at the episode count this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time we did an episode with just the two of us was August.
Wow.
So
Really?
that was
No
a long
wonder
time
it feels
ago.
like it's so long.
Yeah. We did the episode with Sean and Jill,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that was September. But it's been a very, very long time.
Wow.
I know, right? And how, like, I've had the intention of you and I sitting down and recording about 26 times in between then and now. And
What are those dates?
one thing's led to another, and we have yet to record an episode, but now we are, because we just did it.
Are we done?
No, what I mean is, like, we just did it. Like, instead of sitting around thinking about doing it or talking about doing it, we just did it. We just set everything up, sat down on the couches, and pushed record. Actually, I had to double check. I did push record.
That would have been funny.
I know. I always think about that. I can't tell you how many times I've, like, periodically thought how funny it would be to be like 45, not periodically, almost every episode I think about 45 minutes in, and I'm like, God, I sure hope that the last 45 minutes has been recorded and we haven't just been talking into microphones for no reason at all.
Have you ever not hit record? I feel like there's been a time where you got a little bit into it where you didn't.
I
Only
don't
once.
think so.
No?
Maybe. Do you remember a time like that?
No, I was legitimately asking you because I didn't think it had happened, but it was like, wait, that sounds kind of familiar. Like you did that. Like didn't hit record for the first little bit on something.
I don't think so. Not in an actual interview or an episode. Yeah.
Probably not.
I don't think so.
It was probably just a what if moment that you told me about.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
We
I
wouldn't
can't
know because
remember.
it's not recorded.
Exactly. And it's been too long.
Yeah.
I was thinking of that too the other day. I think I started in 2016.
Yeah.
Does that seem right?
I think so. You got 2 years, or this is going to be, God, that'll be 3.
I know.
Wow.
Now it's 2019.
As of 2 days ago.
Yeah. It's going to be 2020 soon. And then I hope that in 2020 they make that the final season of 2020, because 2020 the new show needs to go out on a high note. And what higher note would there be to go out than in the year 2020 if the fucking show is called 2020?
That'd be kind of funny.
Because then what are they going to do? Change it?
2021. When did that show start?
It started in 2020. 1920. Started in 1920. Why is it called 2020? Do you know?
I don't know. Is
I
it
don't
like
either.
vision, perfect vision. Hindsight's 2020.
Do you think it has something to do with vision?
I don't know.
I wonder if it's like some sort of...
I didn't ask. I've never really been into that show.
I don't even know who's on that show.
I don't either.
There was Papanopoulos or George Papanopoulos.
Okay.
He was on 2020. He may still be on 2020. And wasn't Barbara Walters on 2020?
Yeah, I am not a... Probably that seems right.
Well, lucky for the
I'm not
listeners
a-
of this podcast, we have now spent... I had to look at the time.
Was it 20 minutes?
We have spent about 2.5 minutes talking about 2020, the new show
That we have no idea.
that I have not watched in a few years. I don't remember last time I watched it. I don't even know if it's fucking still on.
That'd be funny if we're talking like, hey, how funny would this be if it went out in 2020 and it's like it was canceled 5 years ago?
That would be funny. You're like, yeah, that ended in 2012. Like everything else was supposed to end in 2012. So we haven't recorded since August of 2018.
Of 2018, almost at 2012.
And now it's January of 2019.
I guess that's why I feel so awkward on it.
That's okay. We're going to do, for the listener, just the one of you.
They all fell asleep with our 2020 conversation.
Stephanie and I are going to be doing like countless episodes, more and more and more episodes. I decided that.
You did?
Yeah. I talked to you about that.
Like quarterly?
No, shut up. But we're just going to release episodes every single week this year, 2019.
Okay.
We're going to commit to every single week a brand new episode of the Energy is Love podcast.
Okay.
And
you got this.
Yeah, you and I are going to be recording the vast majority of them. And then periodically we'll have guests that come on and we'll interview guests. And sometimes we'll interview guests together like we've done in the past. And sometimes I'll interview people and you can also interview people. I was thinking of that too.
I can interview people?
Yeah, like
I do such a good job with
there's no reason why like if you ever have Can
I have Janelle? Can Janelle and
God.
I have a session?
That would
please,
be really
please?
funny.
That would be so much fun. Can that happen?
What would you guys talk about though?
Everything. You know what? I would like to think that she would be completely open, which means you're going to have to get an extra explicit rating for your podcast. But I think, her and I used to work together and she still works there. So she might not be as bold. But then again, it's Janelle. She'll totally be bold.
Yeah, she will be. She's not going to give a shit.
She's my frat brother.
Frat brother, frat
You
sister.
called her that.
I didn't call her your frat brother.
You gave her that term. You're like, you go and hanging out with your frat brother because her and I have fun.
You guys definitely get fratty.
That came from you. Like it wasn't a fraternity or sorority.
No.
You refer to her as my frat brother.
You guys definitely don't do sorority shit. You skip right over that and go straight to the fraternity. I think that would be really cool.
Can that
You should
happen?
totally do that. But like, I think
you're gonna be able to make anything out of the laughs the whole time.
Yes. I'll definitely
giggling
be able
and
to turn it
talking
into
in
an
our
episode.
half sentences.
But I think it would be cool to have you guys talk about the realities of dispatching. Because you and I have talked about that before. And you don't have to talk just about that. Like I saw
I've
your
been
face.
out of it for so long.
Yeah, but you still remember what it was like.
I do, but I've been out of it for so long.
And she still does it.
She does.
People don't fucking realize the thing that takes place there for a 911 dispatcher. They have no idea what it is. They think it's just a call center job of somebody sitting around answering
Would you
the
like
phones.
fries with that?
Exactly. They have no idea what it's really like. And they have no idea what it does to the person on the other end of the phone that's answering all those 911 calls. So that would be a good episode. Not to mention...
I'm sorry.
It's okay, baby.
Ring her off. Oh, you sent me something.
What did I send you?
You sent me something on Messenger.
Yes. It's that
I'll
page I told you to look at.
Okay. Well, I will look at it.
So that's...
I've seen it now.
That's coming in 2019.
I thought you... Excuse me. You're going to 2020. That would be fun.
That would be fun. Anyways, the listener out there is going to get way more episodes of the Energy is Love podcast. I was thinking about it and I looked at this last year, 2018, and all the episodes that were done, and there weren't that many. And that was kind of frustrating because there's 52.
There was good ones.
Yes.
There were good ones.
Good ones.
There was so many like really, really, really good ones.
There were some good episodes of the podcast this past year.
They're always good.
But there weren't that many episodes of the podcast.
What was your favorite? You don't have to say me. It's okay.
A favorite episode of last year?
Yeah. What was your favorite interview?
I had a lot. I had a lot of really good episodes or good interviews that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look real quick. Bum, bum, bum. Take your time, phone. Oh. Big deep breath. I don't know.
You don't know?
I guess I had more than I thought I did. If we have 52 weeks in the year, technically we had 10, 20, almost 25. So that's not even half. That sucks. We got to do better this year. But we are going to do better this year. I don't know, baby. I had a lot of... I really liked episode 119 with Robert Sturman.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that interview. I loved our interview. Or the time that we got to hang out with Leanne.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 120. Craig Lemire. I fucking loved Craig Lemire.
Did you?
Yeah. episode 113, and Amir Jackson, and Aaron Woodall. Danny and TJ were way fun.
They were fun.
To see, there was a lot of really good episodes. Yeah. Anyways, we're doing more episodes this year for 2019. What was your favorite episode of last year as you just looked through them?
Well, I was trying to come up with something that wasn't recent
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to dig in more. But I really, I really wish you wouldn't have said the one you just said. Well, you just said Craig Lumiere, and he wasn't on my list. He was good, but it wasn't the, that just sounded bad. I did enjoy that one. I really liked Leanne's because she was just, not because I was on that one, but just the one listening to you guys, or no, that was hers. I got them mixed up because there was two right there.
My interview
you
with
just
her.
interviewed her for this one, and then I was on with you with hers. But I really enjoyed her. She just was so fascinating. I really liked listening to her. And Robert Sternum's was really cool. It was really,
I think you said
really,
sternum.
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Well, you got to stretch out your sternum.
That was a good episode too.
Yeah. Well, I totally thought that was what's his last name?
Sturman. Yeah.
Sternum. Robert, I
They're
am so
very
sorry.
close.
I just think you're wonderful. Love you and Chai, but I'm sorry about your last name. I totally butchered it. It's okay.
No,
don't
you
have to
didn't.
say
That was
mine,
super
right?
close. I could see how you could mistake it for sternum.
Okay, I feel really embarrassed and really bad, so kind of move on from that part.
Yes, we'll move on.
You want me to fix the mic?
I do.
Well, I don't want to.
I know, but I want you to
It's-
be able to talk more comfortably.
Well, I keep backing up because it's super loud in my ears,
No.
and I don't like hearing myself that well, so I
I
have
know.
to back
So
up.
do the one screw and then slide the whole pole towards you.
It's a whole new podcast. Or you could just turn down my mic
There
and
you
I
go.
won't hide from it.
I'll just
Or
turn
not my
down the
mic,
overall volume.
my headphones. No, because you need to hear you.
Yeah,
And
but I know that the audio is already good. There you go.
I feel like I'm eating it now.
So turn it towards the wall just slightly. There you go. Now you can.
Do I still sound good?
You sound great.
I sound great?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Just lean back.
But then I forget to move forward.
I'll remind you. I'll
I
throw
don't
a
wanna be
playing card.
told
I'll throw a
the
playing
whole
card in your
time.
face. No, you do great.
Okay. So I liked his. I felt like he was very open and raw in that. And I really appreciated it. It was really, I don't know. I like it when they seem to forget, that they're doing an interview and these are the things they have to say and they just start
I'm gonna
pouring.
fucking bug you again.
God damn it. What am I doing wrong
Just
now?
push it away from you. You're not doing anything wrong. Just push it away from you like 2 inches.
I'm not talking anymore about my favorite podcast. 'Cause-
Please don't stop. There you go.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Next subject.
I hate how anal I am with the microphones.
Yeah. Is it annoying for you? Is that
very
a
annoying.
little frustrating?
If the listener out there,
Can hear the sound.
we should
of my
name our
voice.
listener.
Why do you keep saying one listener?
Because it's we have a lot of listeners all over the world, but it's kind of funny. Let's name them.
Is it a him? Because
Let's
Barb
name
is
it-
the first thing that came to
Barb?
mind. I don't know why
I love Barb. Barb.
Hi,
Barb is our
Barb.
listener. So Barb, if you want to buy us some microphones for the podcast, the microphones that I want for the podcast, we need 4 of them because every now and then we have 4 guests on or 4 people on the podcast. How much? $1,600.
Jesus.
So 4 microphones that I want, $1,600.
What about turntables?
And a microphone. I don't think we need turntables
No,
for
that's
podcasting.
exactly what went through my head. It's where it's at.
Who sings that?
I have no idea.
Anyways, we could sit here.
Yeah, Barb.
Barb's going to be
would-
super entertained.
Would you be less anal about your microphones and making me adjust it? You don't make other people adjust
I
it.
do.
Just with me.
I do. You're right. I make you adjust the microphone
Yeah.
way more than I do other people.
Yeah. So would that happen less if you had the microphones you really wanted?
Yeah, they
Barb, please. Please, please, please.
they're only $1,600. They're
piece?
No, they're $400 a piece. But we'll need 4 of them. I will settle for 2.
Will you?
$800. And then 2 more in 3 months, Barb.
I love you, Barb.
Is that our neighbor?
It is our neighbor. Is he going to start leaf blowing the snow?
Oh my God. So I don't think our neighbors actually listen to this podcast, so we can
Yeah, I think we're okay. Hopefully.
Fucking neighbor at what time?
Which, by the way, they're great. We do appreciate them.
We love all of our neighbors except for some of them. No,
Except for the ones that are right next door.
We live in a wonderful area with amazing neighbors, but we have one neighbor.
We really do, though.
We do. And he likes to do yard work year round at early morning.
Was it like 7?
No, it wasn't honestly that bad. It was only like 8 or 8:30. But that's still kind of early, especially I think it was on a weekend. And
no, it was a weekday.
Over the holidays,
No, it was weekend. I don't remember.
Well, don't come outside at 8 a.m. with your leaf blower to blow snow off your car.
And he started doing the driveway with the leaf blower. Yes. He was just like...
Don't do that if you are...
strapped on his back, his little backpack leaf blower.
It was so cute. Look, Mom, I'm blowing the snow. It was very annoying.
It was interesting.
I was thinking about... because we're going to do this episode and we're going to do many, many more episodes.
So I'll get comfortable again?
Yeah. What I was thinking about in regards to this episode was, should we do a recap of our year, or should we just do the highlights, or should we not even talk about our previous year and just pretend like it never happened and move on to 2019?
Goodbye, Ruby Tuesday. Let's let it go. I was going to ask you what your... what your, not favorite parts, because what are your favorite parts?
The parts in the middle.
The dash. Talk to me about the dash.
I don't know what that means.
It's like
immediately went to the dashboard.
Think of the dates, 2018-2019. It's like the dash is where all the good stuff happens.
Okay.
I got that from my mom. Anyways, what was the deep, the moments for you? The parts that you look back and you're like, yeah, I did that. One of
the coolest things that we did was skydive.
That was a dash moment?
That was an amazing moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a moment of a lifelong dream coming to fruition. I had wanted to skydive for as long as, I think as soon as I saw what skydiving was, I got to take a drink.
Good, me too.
I think as soon as I saw what skydiving was, which I don't remember when that would have been, because I think they've been skydiving for quite some time.
It's a new thing.
As soon as I saw skydiving, I wanted to skydive. I remember seeing skydiving in movies, or even realizing that was a thing. I'm like, I want to do that. I want to jump out of an airplane and free fall.
Was it the Patrick Swayze Point Blank? Is that what it was?
Point Blank, they skydived. Yeah.
Was that what got you going?
That definitely played a role. There was another one called Drop Zone with Wesley Snipes, which is not a good movie.
No?
No, not at all. I've seen it since, and it does not hold up.
No.
But there's a lot of skydiving in it. And there's a character in that movie. His name is Swoop.
Swoop?
That's his nickname. They call him Swoop.
Swoopy-doo.
I think it's just Swoop.
I've got the Shoop song in my head now.
Anyways, we went skydiving this year.
Yes.
And that was lovely.
That was incredible.
That was incredible. Somehow it seemed like we kind of forgot that. I have been recounting my year.
I watch the video every day. What do you...
But we did that.
Yeah.
We jumped out of an airplane this year, and that was way cool. That was really fun.
That was really cool, and it was a surprise for me. You set that all up. It's a super amazing anniversary present, so that makes it was even cooler for me.
I would make sure, if you're going to surprise your significant other with skydiving, make sure that they actually want to do it, because that could have turned out really bad.
That could have. You were okay, though.
Yeah, I knew you wanted to skydive. I know you.
You do.
I had a lot of really cool things this year. I woke up this morning and I was writing in my journal, which I do every day, I don't do it every day. I don't even do it on a regular basis. Anyways, I was writing about and thinking about 2018 and all that I accomplished. And there's a lot. There's a lot that I accomplished. And the vast majority of it, even though I could articulate it and I could put it into words to some degree, it really is just like an overwhelming sense of, I feel like a better version of who I am right now than I did at the beginning of 2018. And so I feel like I'm happy with myself. I'm proud of myself, but I feel like I'm a better version than I was at the beginning of 2018. And also a better version than I think I've ever been. So it's like my update, my newest version, like this is Craig 10.0. Oh. This is Craig 2020. It just keeps getting better. I don't feel like I got stuck as much this past year. I don't feel like I got held up and caught up. I feel like a lot of patterns and routines and things that in the past have kept me stagnant and stuck, I was able to shake free of a lot of those. And I feel, like I said, a much better version of myself today than ever before. So that makes me really happy.
It makes me really happy too.
We quit smoking.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Big.
That was in, was that your, I quit smoking deep breath?
Yeah. I was like,
we can breathe.
The lung capacity.
My lungs can open. Hand me a cigarette. No, I feel good. And it's only been, that was at the end of 2018.
Yeah.
I quit in October. You quit in September. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So September's 9. So you've had 3 months, a little over 3 months. And I've had a little over 2 months, almost 3 months.
I don't think it was a whole month. I think it was only a few weeks because it was like, I think
it was almost a month.
It was September 9th.
In between.
No, it was September 20th.
For you?
Or wait, no, did I fly out on the 18th or the 19th?
I don't remember.
It was either the 19th or the 20th. And I think you were
October 8th.
October 8th. There you go.
8th or 7th or something.
So it was just a couple of weeks.
Either way, we've done it.
Yay.
We've successfully kicked that habit
Boom.
For the time being.
No.
I feel very confident that I'm done smoking.
Yeah.
We will definitely smoke in the future.
Well, we're not done.
It's going to be marijuana. We have not tried to kick that habit, nor will we.
Well, we haven't exactly been practicing the habit, so how does that work?
That's true. We haven't cultivated our habit yet. I hope to cultivate a smoking of marijuana habit.
Started, so that's funny.
And then apparently, Utah, we live in Utah, has started a medical marijuana. What was the final resolution on that?
It passed, but
the bill passed to,
and then everybody went up, and not everybody. Thank you, religion.
The Mormons. You can say the Mormons.
The Mormons.
Because there's only one here in Utah.
Now see, I'm going to get all angry about that. Not because of the recreational, but like, oh my God. Very frustrated.
But soon we may be able to get some marijuana legally in Utah.
Yeah, I don't know that.
That's going to happen.
I don't know what's going to happen. Because I don't know what happened with that. After they were going and looking at the overturning and all the shit that was coming up, I stopped listening. It was like, well, what's the point? Like, seriously, there's supposed to be separation with church and state. They put something on the ballot. We vote for it. It passes. And the church can still go up and change it. Like, what's the point? Just say whatever. The state is ran by Mormons. Don't even try and pretend that there's any options. And if you unfortunately have a child or a loved one that needs that medicine to help them survive or even be able to eat or maybe get through 20 minutes without having a seizure, just leave. Just go. Just get the hell out of the state, because there's my optimism of it. It was really heart-wrenching. That was like, finally, there can be a little bit of light, a little bit of insight that people matter. And the church is like, nope.
I think it passed. Well,
it did pass.
Because the people voted, and we all voted yes. which was a big surprise for people, even though not really. And I don't think what they did by having their special session,
I don't know what happened with that. Like I said, I quit listening.
I don't think they overturned it. I think all they were doing was manipulating and changing the verbiage so that they had more control over it, which they were going to do anyways. Now, I could be definitely wrong, and I can almost guarantee that I am.
Well, I couldn't tell you because, like I said, I stopped at that point. It was like...
But we're going to have legal weed here in Utah soon.
Yeah.
I think.
Maybe if I have some, I'll settle down with my little anger about some Mormon church. Maybe I'd go to church, huh? How about that? Get your numbers up.
No, we would never go to church. Should we go to church?
No. You know what's funny is I actually had that go through my head the other day.
Of going to church?
Of going to church. Like it went through my head of like...
Maybe that's what you're looking for?
Maybe. But I just sat with it for a little bit and it's not... I figured out what it was that I was craving based on what I was looking for, because I do not like organized religion in the slightest. I think any opportunity for man, and I'm not saying men, just humankind, man, to grab a hold of power and manipulate and control, unfortunately, it takes. And I see so much of that, but there is so much good in the churches. And that's what I was craving, which had me considering that, is a safe, loving, supporting community. Is that I was like wanted to feel that. But at the same point, it's not safe, it's not loving, it's not supportive if it's, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to believe, these are the rules, and if you stray from this, then you're not worthy. You know, that's cruel. So it was just that community that I was craving, but I don't need anybody to shame me, give me a set of rules that they think that I'm only have value if I follow.
So you're craving community, not church.
Yes. So therefore, I didn't go to church.
Good. I'm glad. I would have gladly supported you in church while I sat home and watched television.
You wouldn't have came with me?
No, I'm not going to go to church with you.
You wouldn't have...
Once. I would go with you once.
Well, Barb, I don't know why I'm craving community, because my husband was like, yeah, I won't even go with you.
There's nothing at church for us. That's not true. There's nice people there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
not
community.
talk about fucking church.
Or talk about you not willing to go with me.
I would go to church with you.
But... You wear your shirt that says she made me come?
Yes.
Well, maybe not that lyric.
That's a good shirt. A few key consonants replaced by a vowel. Yeah, you use a vowel.
Yes. I think it's vowels replaced by vowels.
We're so dorky. What was your highlight of 2018?
Finding out that my husband went, that's 2019.
Yeah, you got to save that one for 2020.
2 days in, and I figured out my husband abandoned me over church, so...
What's your highlight?
What to do. My highlights,
Don't think about all the heavy.
I'm trying not to, but it really overshadows.
Because go ahead.
I guess if I just analytical it, skydiving was great. 2018, I graduated school.
Yeah.
And
started
a business. And traveled for the first time by myself and went on adventures that I would have never have went on. I went on 2 major by myself, and then we got to go on this long road trip and go to a nude beach, the tatas in the sun.
That was not the name of the nude beach. That's a good name for a nude beach, though. Tatas in the sun.
Tatas in the sun.
That should be our tiki bar name.
What about we're gonna have a tiki bar?
Think about that. That would be a good tiki bar name, like on the beach. The name of the
Tatas on the beach.
Yeah, no, Tatas in the sun.
Tatas in the sun. Well,
Sun's
what about
out,
the
tatas
tikis?
out.
Can't be just the tatas.
We all have tatas.
Everybody has nipples. That's right.
Exactly.
Fokker.
So yeah, we went to the nude beach, which was an amazing adventure.
Yeah.
What else? We could probably talk more about that. I'm sure that Barb's
Probably.
like chomping at the
She's
bit.
like, hold on, you guys are totally getting microphones now. Let's hear about the nude beach. Well, yeah, because we haven't talked about that because we haven't had a podcast.
No, not since then.
Did I just spoiler alert? Were you waiting to bring out the nude beach?
No.
This is one of those where, like, I hope our kids still aren't listening because they do not know we went to a nude beach.
Our kids never listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
We need to stop worrying about that.
True.
One day they will listen, but by that point we won't care.
Like, that's right.
They'll be like, Dad, I listened to your podcast. I'm like, what podcast? You remember you did a podcast? Be like, oh, yeah, I totally forgot I did a podcast.
Aw, that's not good. You're going to keep
Well,
doing
40
this.
years from now.
I can see you still doing this. It'll be your hologram cast.
There you go, hologram cast.
Yeah. You can watch the Energy is Love, have the host sitting right in your living room.
That will be when we are all synced up with microchips in AI. So finish your highlights from 2018. Multiple trips by yourself, which was a big step for
That was
you.
a big step. I rode one of those scooters over an overpass and almost died, but we're okay. I totally wrecked. Didn't crash. I just like went off into the grass and fell over.
You walked on fire.
I did. I walked on fire twice.
Yeah. Not just, you had two different
Yeah, two
incidences
different
of walking
incidents.
on fire, but you walked on fire multiple times.
Yes. That was a part of the retreat thingy.
Do you want to talk about your retreats? Or not really?
I'll talk about walking on fire.
Do it.
But I was going to do a blog on it, so
Well, this will be a sneak peek
a sneak peek.
to the blog.
Well, this is where I'll get into the detail. If I get into detail on the blog, it's going to be a book. Nobody's got time for that. Hey, nobody got time for that. I don't know. You want to hear both or just one?
I don't care, baby.
You don't care. Okay. So the first one, I just got the head motion. So he was directing me where to put my head back by the microphone because did I read you wrong?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
I thought you were like,
No.
I'm glad we don't do the YouTube
The
thing too.
YouTubes.
Like you've done that a couple or the Facebook, but I'm glad that I can sit here and be a dork and make weird movements and
Yeah.
rub my eyeball and not worry about how it looks.
If I could easily figure out how to record these and put these on YouTube and have everything work well, like easily so that it didn't take me a long time to do,
Yeah.
I would totally do it. But I don't have the time or the patience.
Yeah.
So for now, they just get audio. You're welcome, Barb. Go ahead.
Okay. So I guess I did talk a little bit about the retreat on other ones because I was really excited to go. And that first one was everything that I was hoping it was going to be. It was beyond incredible. So many wonderful things happened, met so many wonderful people. And I'm so sad that some of the greatest people that I've ever met live so far away. But I'm glad that we all came together for that one little bit. And I really look forward to seeing those women again one day because I know I will. So we go through these amazing experiences, these bonding, these just this incredible time. And then it comes time to walk on fire. And so we have to go at night and we go walking through the Arizona desert to the place, and all of these women together singing, chanting, having drums in the background, go walking in the moonlight. It was a full moon too, so yeah. Through the Arizona desert, and it was just beautiful. I was excited to walk on the fire. Was feeling a lot of fire energy, a whole bunch of fire things were coming through, so it was pretty perfect that there was a fire walking ceremony at this particular retreat. But I also had it in my head that it's trickery, it's smoke and mirrors, because you can't really walk on these hot coals. Like there's some little thing that they do, this little trick that they do so
The
you
type
don't
of
get
wood
burned.
that they use.
Like just anything. Like the place, I didn't know. But I also didn't care because I knew that it was still going to be cool. It was still going to be empowering. And it was okay that there was, sleight of hand with it to
That's
say.
what you were thinking.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Because it was still going to be cool and it was still going to be empowering. But my brain was like, you also can't really put your bare skin on that. And then they were saying how it's like 1,300 degrees. Yeah, you can't walk on 1,300 degrees, Cookies, 350 in the oven? You can cook a whole turkey. And I'm just going to put my bare feet on 1,300 degree coals and everything's going to be fine. Like, no, it's not real. But it was still going to be cool. And we get up and there's this huge fire. And you can just feel the heat radiating from it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's real fire. And they do rake it out so you can walk on, because at first it was like this big mound and like, we're just going to go up to our knees. Like, that's not happening. I guess I'm not walking because I'm not doing that. But they rake it out and it glows. Everything's just red and lumpy and it glows, and you get up to it and you can feel the heat. But still in my mind, because you can't really walk on fire, and like I know there's some trick to it, and just feel the pull. They say you can't decide if you're going to walk or not until you're there, that you have that like exchange with the fire and you don't know till you're there. I was like, okay, but I'm going to walk. Oh, I won't know till I'm there. Okay, but I'm going to walk. So trying to not do that and fill in the pull. And it's a neat thing because it's not like a decision. You don't make a decision and say, okay, it is my turn to go. I shall get in line and walk across the fire. It's something happens, something moves your body, and you know that it's your turn. I have other people talked about their feet start to tingle, not their teats. Their teats start to like really feel full.
Tatas.
The tatas in the sun start to, but oops,
Just
their
tipped
feet start to tingle.
Yeah.
What's happening?
I'm just tipping my mic over onto me. Go ahead.
Some people, I've had a woman mention that she waits for the shooting star before she goes. Mine was a chest pull and my feet were moving. Like I could feel it, like there was a string, or not a string, but like something had my chest and it grabbed and was pulling forward. It was like I was chest out walking, just like your body bows, not. I don't know how to really describe it because it's such a strange sensation. It's like you're moving before you know you're moving, and your feet are going before you know you're going. And feeling that pull towards it and having, which is incredible to feel that kind of sensation. And then my first step on the fire and was like, holy fuck, that's hot. This fire, it's real fire. And that was very surprising because I knew it was trickery. And it was hot. It was fire. There's fire. So I didn't take my time.
Did you talk with any of the other ladies beforehand and be like, this is total trickery? Like, what is this? Did you have that conversation with any of them leading up to it?
No.
No.
I didn't say that. They were talking about the fire beforehand, and somebody mentioned, like, are we going to talk about fire kisses? And the instructor or leader, or I don't even know what to call her, the one that was putting it all on.
Yeah.
Said, we'll talk about that after. And I was thinking, well, I know that it's trickery, but I'm not kissing the fire. So like, that's not going to happen, you crazy bitches. That's not in the way. But I guess it gets to that. So I didn't tell anybody that I didn't think it was real. I just was like, we were excited and happy. And it was such I guess that makes it sound like I was sitting here negative in it and like, oh, that's not real. It's not it. I wasn't. Everything was so heightened. And we were all so happy and just building each other up and hugging and laughing and sharing. And when that time came, like you could taste, there was a difference in the air. We were just, it was so moving. And even though like that, I wasn't looking at it like, oh, it's false, it's a joke, you're manipulating us. It's not how I was coming at it. I knew it was empowering. I knew it was good. I just knew that logically that doesn't happen. You can't really touch 1300 degrees and not have your skin melt. You know, I knew that didn't.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, I didn't feel like we were being manipulated. And, you know, it didn't cost extra to do the fire walk. You know, it's not where they, you know, this is something that was just a gift that was there and you participated or you didn't. And even with not participating, you're still building the energy. So you're still participating. I just knew that, you know, you can't really walk on fire. And my brain still says that. You can't really walk on fire. You can't really walk on 1300 degrees. They have all these burn units in hospitals and people will die and houses catch on fire. But, you know, that's how I was raised. So, like, I knew you're not going to walk on 1300 degrees. It's not how that really works, but that's okay. It's still empowering and it's still showing me that I can accomplish things. And then I step on it and like I said, this is hot. This is really, really, really hot. This is burning. And so I moved across it. And then I surprisingly felt the pull 2 more times. Some women didn't walk at all. Some women walked once. There was a couple of us that did 3 times. I don't believe anybody did more than that on this particular run. And then they started, women started, a few of us got burned on this one. And our feet were hot and it was dark, so we couldn't see. And the instructor was telling us how to pull energy up. She's like, you really need to keep moving it through your body. Don't focus on your feet. Just when you feel it in your feet, just pull it up through your body. Keep moving it up so it goes through. And if you do get the fire kisses, you're supposed to look on your feet because that shows you where your blocks are. If you go to acupuncture, you want me to stop talking.
I don't want
I told you it was going to be so long.
No, I don't want you to stop talking at all. I just love that they call it fire kisses. You mean burns? Because they're fucking burns.
They're kisses, little fire. And they say, you know, sometimes the fire French kisses you.
Sometimes the fire fucks your ass hard, and then you have to go to the hospital because your foot is broken.
It melts off 1300 degrees. So my roommate and I finally got back to our room, which with the women talking about their feet burning and how intense the fire was, my feet started burning more and more to where I'm like, oh my God, like I'm scared at this point. I'm like, because my feet hurt. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, so it was real fire. You knew what it was going to do. And I was expecting these crazy burns. And oh my gosh, I didn't tell you. After the first walk, when it was super hot, when I made it across and had that realization that I just walked on fire and it's real, it's not trickery, because that shit freaking is hot. It is hot. You feel when you're at a campfire, you feel the heat coming off of it. You feel it warm. You get your hands too close to it, you burn, it's hot. But I was standing there and I looked at the woman who she had done it a few times, not that trip, but like she'd been to other events. And I see her coming across and she has her goddamn shoes on. And so I had this moment of panic. Like, oh, we were supposed to leave our shoes on.
Was this after you had already walked?
This is after my first walk. And I'm sitting there with my feet, like, realizing this was, super hot. Like, oh my God, nobody told me. They let me walk without my shoes on. And just this panic of what do I do now? Because this is going to be bad. You were supposed to leave your shoes on. And I somehow missed that. Nobody stopped me. And then the woman that was right after her. And then the woman that was after her, they were all barefoot. I'm like, oh, that one just left her shoes on. Okay, I don't know why she did that. Maybe nobody told her you were supposed to take them off. I don't know what that story was. That's okay. She walked how she needed to. But I definitely was like, had a moment of panic. And do I stay here and get the medical attention that I need? Or should I start running because I want to get away from this fear? That's kind of funny. But we get back to the room and I'm not going to look at my feet because I don't want to see the burns and I don't want to create them and make it worse because I'm looking at it. So I'm going to focus. So I'm going to wait till morning before I look at my feet. But we start to look slowly and I look at my feet inch by inch and there's no burns and there's nothing. And then the pain goes away. Like, what is that? What is that? So it was wonderful. And then we went to the rooms and started being a bunch of girly girls, I guess, because we were all bouncing around like a slumber party, everyone's rooms, and looking at each other's feet. And some had some really good blisters, and mine didn't have any. And then I think it was like 2 days later, I started seeing I started getting them after I was like really going over. So I didn't have any bad blisters. I didn't have any like fluid blisters. I had like some white dots on my feet, and I had my fire kisses, and I had one on like under my toe, like that little spot from the pad of your foot and the pad of your toe, that in between, the dash right there, that is some sensitive protected baby skin.
Yeah, especially on your pinky toe.
Yeah, and then it's the fire says hot burn, here, kiss for you. So it was pretty powerful. It was pretty significant. And I like that when I think about how it felt, I can feel my feet tingling. Like I can remember what that sensation felt like. But I guess what I can't really explain is what it felt like to actually cross it, to realize the fire was real, and to walk across it and to feel that pull again. And I remember as it was pulling me the second time, I pushed back. I was like, no, we're not doing that again. And then I felt that pull again and walked across it again. And at this point, you know, when it's going, everyone is so loud and there's so much chanting and singing and clapping, and it's so loud. There's so much energy. There's so much movement. And then they make it all quiet. Everybody stops. There's no drumming. There's no singing. There's no chanting. There's no encouragement. It's just silent. So you can hear the fire. You can see the stars. You can feel the moon. And everyone stands around and it's just silent. And if you choose or you feel, you can walk again. And I did. Yeah. You can leave things with the fire. The fire does things that heals inside you, and it takes things. You get to leave things to be healed on the fire. So when you walk across it, you're different when you're on the other side. It's different than when you started. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be a boob. What is that? So it was really wonderful. And they talked about the next day, how intense that fire was, how intense that the fire is what you need it to be. And that fire was really, really intense. And it was really intense for a lot of people. And I was like, that's pretty accurate, because I needed that fire to be intense. Otherwise I knew it wasn't real. So I would have never have believed it. I wouldn't have had that feeling. I wouldn't have had that experience if the fire had been a gentle fire, if it wasn't so intense. I needed it to be intense to say, hey, this is real. You're doing this. This is what's happening. Because I wouldn't have believed it. And then the next time I did it, the retreat was very different. It was still good, but I did not have the feelings that I felt in the first one that I talked about in Arizona. And I did not think I was going to walk. I just didn't feel it. I don't know, maybe a little bit was fear, because I'm like, haha, the fire's hot. It's really hot. But I didn't feel like I had my energy at the levels that it needed to be. I didn't feel like I was in a good enough place. And I did not want that intensity. I needed gentle. I'm still needing gentle. That intense, that burn, that rush, that total kick was needed in Arizona, but this next one, it was not. So I didn't want to walk. I didn't think. And then, I felt like a failure immediately with that. Like, it's just because you're a chicken. It's just because you're afraid. You're not going to walk. Look at you. You're failing. Good. I let that go. And I was like, I don't have to, because if I force myself to walk just so, I'm going to get hurt. So I'm not going to do that. And then I started getting excited when we were approaching it and feeling the heat, and I felt the pull. Like, oh shit. Okay. Okay, here's the pull, getting up to it. And I was afraid, because I kept telling myself, you're not in a good place right now. you're not ready to do this. So my head would get in and I would push back and like get out of the path and then feel that pull and end up there again. And the first step on the fire, and I'm like, ready for the heat. Oh God, it's going to burn this time. What am I doing? Why is my body pulling me? I don't know what's happening. And there was no heat. And next step, and there was no heat. And next step, there was no heat, and just made it all the way across, moving slowly with no heat. And then I just kept going and just kept walking across it. Like, where's the heat? There's no heat, and just feeling stronger every time I crossed the fire. And there were times that I went with other women and we held hands, and it was women that I had bonded with during that. And then at one point, like, I don't even know one of the women's hands. She was just there and grabbed my hand, and her and I went, and I lost count. I have no idea how many times I walked that night because I just kept going over and over again. And at one point at the end, I just stopped and stood there, which you're not supposed to, because other people are coming. And if the person behind you doesn't want to stop and bask in the moment, you're forcing them to stop. I didn't do that though. Nobody got stopped, but I hesitated and I stopped and I stood, and just like, there was no heat, and it was just beautiful. It was beautiful. And it was so soft, and it just like hit me again that the fire is what you need it to be. I needed intensity, and I got intensity. And I needed gentle, and I got gentle. It was the same person. I went to the same women's retreat. So it was the same fire walk leader thing. It wasn't that, oh, maybe this person does it like this and this like this. It was the same person, and it was two completely different things. It's the same wood they use. It's the same everything, and it was different. That's a lot of talk about firewalks. So let's talk about baseball now.
What was the retreat?
Different.
So if people are interested, they can go and find that information.
It was the Warrior Goddess Wisdom Weekend, and Heather Ashimara hosts them. And she's got amazing books. She's an author. I found the retreat before the book, and I got the book just so I knew anything about this woman that I was going to, because I felt that pull. And it was Warrior Goddess training, and absolutely fell in love with the book, fell in love with her. She was just amazing. My experience in Arizona was unlike anything I've ever experienced. It was just beautiful. Everything about it, start to finish, was beautiful and incredible and inspiring and empowering. And I went to basically the same thing in Austin for the facilitator training. And it was tacked on to the Warrior Goddess Wisdom Weekend. And it was different. And I was different though. I thought, December was a really hard month for me. But
maybe it was last year. No worries.
But it was. So she's amazing. I highly recommend anything by Heather Ashimara or Don Miguel Ruiz.
In summary, what was what was the overall lesson that you learned from the experience of walking on fire?
Fire's hot.
Baby.
It's real.
We could have saved just a little bit of money and you could have asked me and I could have informed you. Fire's hot.
The first one was quit being afraid of being burned, because even if you get burned, you're going to live, it's not going to kill you. You're stronger than you think you are. And just that, how much power is actually inside. That was the first one. And then, I don't know, this last month, and it's also okay to be gentle with yourself.
It was less than a month ago.
It was less than a month ago.
Seems like a lot longer than that, huh?
It really does.
Yeah.
It's okay to be gentle with yourself. It doesn't have to be intense. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It doesn't have to be so much noise, and you're capable of that, and it can be that, but you can get just as much work and just as much movement by being gentle and loving with yourself. And nobody can walk through the fire for you. You can't lean on anybody. You can't. You either do it or you don't. It's all you. So if you did it, then you can do it. I don't want to talk about fire anymore. Fire walking. I feel like I've spent 45 minutes probably talking about it, and I've taken too much time, and probably
No.
Barb's sleeping.
Barb
no
is not
longer
sleeping.
listening.
Barb's on the edge of her
She's
seat.
bored.
No. Thank you, baby. I appreciate you sharing that. That was a big part of 2018 for you.
It was.
Not just walking on fire, but those retreats and those experiences. And what's really funny, I think, is like, I'm going to talk like they know what we're talking about. Like Barb has a clue what we're talking about, but she doesn't because she's not. First off, I don't think Barb's. That would be really cool. Like if we do, in fact, have somebody named Barb that's listening to this podcast right now, you should totally email us, Barb, and let us know that you're listening to the podcast.
Maybe that's why I got that name. Maybe she needed to hear us.
She did.
Barb, reach out.
Yeah. Well, she is now the #1 fan and listener of the podcast. Our year ended very differently than the majority of the year progressed and proceeded.
Yes.
The end of our year for 2018 ended in some fucking shit and some ass.
Some shit ass?
Some shit ass.
That's not good.
The end of the year was intense and murky and heavy and difficult to move through for both of us. But guess what?
We're through it.
We did get through it. The end of the
think.
year is over. What's Angel doing?
She's having a dream. She's dreaming about the end of 2018 and having a seizure
Bless
in
her
her
heart.
sleep.
She's such a sweet
Aw.
dog. But we got through it.
Yeah.
And I think that's very, very cool. And we've got a lot coming up in this year that we have no idea what the hell it looks like
Yep.
or what it means. And I'm not a big fan of, I was thinking about like resolutions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Remember we were going to quit smoking last year?
We did it.
We did. We just took 9 months to get there.
We did it. Hey, it takes baby 9 months to come out. So,
Takes baby 10 months to come out.
well, sometimes it takes baby 6 months. So
Correct.
go ahead and correct me. How many babies you popped out, buddy?
In which lifetime? What was I going to say? Oh, I don't want a resolution this year, though.
I didn't make one.
I didn't either, because I think they're dumb. I don't think I've ever done one, like, with the intention. I was thinking of this morning when I was writing in that journal. I'm like, this year I just want to, like, do stuff. I don't want to sit and be like, oh, I have to do stuff, or I have to, like, be this or be that, or I've got to better myself in this way or that way, or whatever the case may be. I feel like I have a really firm grasp of what it takes to be a continual better version of myself. I'm just going to do that. Like, I'm just going to continually upgrade my software and be a better version than I was the day before. And it's not to say that the version that I was the day before was bad or worse or less than, but I'm just going to continually evolve. And I know what that takes. And I'm committed to that process. And I like that process of just continually bettering and working and evolving. And I'm happy about that.
Me too.
What was your favorite movie last year?
Star is Born.
Yeah. That was really good.
That was really good. I really like that.
Really good movie.
Still listen to the soundtrack.
Yes, we do. What was your favorite?
Sorry. I just realized you could hear me.
That's okay.
I was
You can
playing
hear
with
me
the
playing.
ball.
You can hear me playing.
Yeah,
with
you've got
cards.
cards. I can play with the ball.
Yes. Which ball? Is that one
I
of your
need
massage
one.
balls?
It is. Trying to.
I was going to ask you something else, but I don't remember
You were
what.
talking about movie. You said what was your favorite movie, and then what was your favorite, and then you got distracted
It's
by
because I lost the thought.
me playing with the ball, rolling it around in my hand a little bit, giving a little tug.
So, anything else, babe?
Oh, what was your favorite movie?
I liked A Star Is Born.
Yeah,
I think that was it. I can't think of...
I really liked that.
I did too. I can't think of another movie that we saw.
You almost said Spider-Verse, huh?
That was really
It
good.
was good.
Yeah, but that wasn't my favorite movie.
It wasn't my favorite
No.
either.
I love people that are like, that's the most influential movie I've ever seen. And I'm like,
Right.
it's a fucking cartoon. And it's not to say that cartoons can't be amazing, because they definitely can be, and they are. And I've seen plenty of cartoons that I've really, really enjoyed and have influenced my life. However, it's still a cartoon.
Yeah, but the age of them is also gives you...
The what?
Never mind. I was gonna say
Ageism?
the age of them.
Of those people that have
Yes.
said that? Yeah, they're young.
They're younger. We're not talking 12 either.
I was thinking of this today
Oh,
too,
goodness.
like the whole...
But it was good.
It
made
was
me
good.
laugh. I really liked it.
Do you remember I told you recently, and I believe by recently, I mean an hour ago when we were sitting at the kitchen table, and
What?
I was telling you about this person that I like and that I know who used that term.
Are you going to use it?
Meta?
Can I use it? Meta's a good thing.
It's not. It's fucking retarded.
What?
So this is the thing that I was thinking about after we had that conversation.
Using it as a verb is...
It's not a word.
It is a word.
It's not. It's like woke. It's like you're using a word. Like meta means what? I don't know what it means.
It's like leading from your heart.
No.
It is. It's all about love. Meta is another way to say love. And it's that deep. I'm not going to say any because you're going to tell me you're going to throw up in your mouth. It is actually a word. And it is all about that oneness. That oneness and that love, that heart from you, recognizing the heart in someone else. It's coming. It's their highest and great. Your highest and greatest, loving the highest and greatest.
That's namaste.
It is namaste, and it's meta.
Okay. Well, there's a bunch of these words like this that I am not a fan of using. And I believe that there's a...
I meta you.
I met you too. A few years ago
Namaste.
is when I met you. I met you a long time ago.
And it was meta at first sight.
We are not going to be using that word.
Yes, we are.
But I wanted to talk...
You're welcome, Barb.
Barb's like, what's the matter mean?
She knows I told
And
her.
then she's yelling at her husband.
I don't think she has a southern accent. I think she's exotic.
No, Barb is straight from the South.
No, she's not. And if you are from the South, it's okay. I love
And
you.
she's listening to her shows.
I don't know.
She's got her shows on. Millennials. I'm on you and I both are on the very end of that generation.
Mm-hmm.
So I technically feel like I am much more the Generation X than I am millennial.
I'm more Generation X than you are.
You are
though.
just because you're slightly older than I am. But so I realized in the context of my brain how much I don't identify with what people typically identify with that are typically classified as millennials. And then I thought, like, all of these things that are swimming around in my head don't really matter because I'm just a person, right? And you can label me whatever generation you want. It doesn't really matter. And that's something that a millennial would say as well, because it doesn't really matter. But there's a lot of shit that I'm like, yeah, I don't like any of that. I don't resonate with any of that. And the word meta is one of them.
Yeah.
In the context of any conversation. I don't really care what the conversation is, unless you're talking about meta physical, like if we use meta in regards to how it's properly used in conjunction with actual words.
It's METTA.
Metatarsal. Meta. What else? Don't you have metatarsals? Those are your toes. Those are your toe fingers.
No.
Your toe bones.
It's your ankle bones.
Your ankle bones?
And no, actually, it is your.
It's your toe.
It's
your toe
not.
bones.
Those are phalanges.
No, phalanges are your fingers.
They're also your
Toes.
toes.
So
These
they're
are
the
metatarsals.
bones in your baby. The Barb can't see
and
your
these
foot
are
that you're
metacarpal.
pointing to.
I'm showing you. It's like the like the palm, your hand.
Yes.
The bones in your hand and the bones in your feet. The tarsals are the bones in your feet, and the metatarsals are the bones in your feet, and the metacarpals are the bones in your hand.
Yes.
That connect to your.
So those are all
Phalanges.
proper uses of the word meta.
That's META, not
I know.
METTA.
Because METTA is not a word.
It is.
No.
It actually is.
It's not.
Okay, Google.
Damn it.
Meta.
What does she say?
Oh, damn it.
She said, are you talking about metacarpals or metatarsals?
No, but I might be wrong. I learned METTA, but this is showing META.
And does it say a stupid phrase / word that
It's seeing the thing
millennials...
from a higher perspective instead of within. So that is, but that's not the way I learned
Seeing the
it.
thing from a higher
That's
perspective.
not what it actually is. There's more than that.
Well, either way.
Hold on.
No,
we're
we
doing
don't
this.
need to Google Meta
I'm not,
right now.
It's searching my words. Stop.
Stop searching.
It's. My apologies. She didn't understand all that.
I think we need to get one of them Google
There
Homes.
we go. METTA.
What does it say?
Loving kindness, friendliness, amity, goodwill, and active interest in others. But it's more than that. None of these things
Are real.
No, it is real. You just can't, like, the words aren't. It is.
You're right.
Okay, you are so more millennial than you think you are. Like, ridiculous. Millennial.
No, I'm not.
Non-metal loving millennial.
I love you.
Love you.
No,
you're not.
Not really. I feel like I'm old. Like I'm old school.
You're wonderful.
I love you.
I love you.
I met you. How should we wrap up?
Oh, I think we should talk about Meta some more.
Okay.
Actually, I want to know why.
Why what?
Like, I understand that there's whippersnappers using the word meta, it driving you nuts, but like, what is it? Because it's like, it's not that you don't like the word in a sense and you don't believe it's a word, but it's like you get pissed off a little bit.
At the use of that word?
Yeah. So why do you think that's such a, what
I think
about
it's
it
like a
seems
lot of
fake?
different things. That's what it is it's the fake behind the use of it. When it's like people using it in fakeness and falseness as opposed to just truth.
Yeah.
So I am 100% meta. But if I use that word,
Are you only a 99?
I don't know. But that's the problem that I have with
Yeah.
it is the falseness and the fakeness behind it. And I'm super judgmental, perhaps. Or maybe I'm just objective at the way that I look at the world. Because at the end of the day, I don't really care. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't change how I feel. I don't care what people say or how they use words or how they, move through life. I don't care. All each to their own, and I'm incredibly happy for that. But I'm just talking to you, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to tell you how people that use the word meta in a false fake, almost like in a way of virtue signaling that they're woke.
Can we quote Jessa Reed here with
Yes.
this and be
Fake
like
awake.
the fake awakes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good fake awake word. That is straight up a fake awake word.
I don't think it's a fake awake word.
It's
I
totally
think
a
it's
fake
a
awake
fake
word.
awake use because I feel that. I love that. And I
The
know that.
fake awakes
But
use
have you
it.
ever heard me say that?
No.
Even once?
No, I haven't.
So there's...
It's because you're not fake awake. You are 100% awoke.
I'm fake asleep. I don't see what's going on.
But yeah, it's a fake awake word.
I don't think you're judgmental. I think you are a... well, I guess you are judgmental. But no, not like... I just realized that I'm gonna contradict myself. It's like you don't care if it's a water bottle or a green ball. It makes no difference to you. And I'm using that because that's what I've got in my hand and next to me. You don't care. You care if the green ball is going around being like, oh, look, I'm a water bottle. And the water bottle is going around trying to like, look, everyone, I'm this brilliant green ball. You don't like the fake. You don't like the bullshit. So you don't care if it's green ball. You don't care if it's water bottle. You don't care if it's meta. You don't care if it's destruction or us. I don't know. You just call it like it is, I think is what... I don't know. That's what seems real for me. That seems what gets you is when it's bullshit. You don't care what it is. You just don't want the bullshit wrapped up in it.
Yeah, I just want people to, but it's my version of what is bullshit and what's not, right? So that's my perception and my reality. And
Coming from a millennial.
for other people, it's not bullshit because for them it's their truth.
You know, I don't know. I think some people are totally wielding out that bullshit, but I think they're grasping at straws, either for self-preservation or monetary gain.
They're just looking for acceptance. See me, see me, see me. See me. See me, see me, see me, see me.
See more.
See, I use the word meta. See me.
Yeah. Or maybe they just discovered the word and it resonated with them and they're like, finally, that describes what I've been feeling. And now I'm going to use that because there's a description, an accurate description to what I feel inside.
Yeah. I love you.
We're done.
Are we?
Yeah.
We have to watch Return of the King.
Return of the
So Stephanie,
Lord of the Rings.
next episode of the podcast will be a movie review of Lord of the Ring trilogy from 2001 when it first came out. Did we decide it was 2001 or 2002?
2001.
Yeah. So that's what the next episode will be, is Stephanie's take on the Lord of the Ring trilogy. That would be funny.
All right. Well, we know how long-winded I can be. With the fire walking, so get ready. Like, Barb, drink your diet soda because you're gonna need some caffeine.
Barb, drink diet soda. Oh, poor Barb.
Can I ask you something?
Please.
You wanted to start this year off with asking a different question. And while you didn't start it, is it okay to have it anywhere in the podcast? Or do you want to, what are you doing?
I'm so glad you reminded me.
Yeah, are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally spaced it.
Okay.
So almost all of last year, every episode of the podcast was started off with, what form of mental illness do you suffer from?
All of them at the moment. Even though that's not the question, just thought I'd answer.
All of the mental illnesses. Which ones? All of them.
All of them.
Yes. And I like that. And I'm still going to be talking about mental illness on the podcast because it's vastly important and everybody needs to change their perspective and their concepts and their ideas surrounding mental illness. But for the year of 2019, perhaps the entire year, we'll see.
I like it.
The question that all guests on the podcast will be asked, hopefully at the beginning of the episode, if I remember, is, go ahead.
Can you be the first guest to get asked the question, even though it's your question?
Yeah. Do you want to ask me?
Or is that a thunder stiller?
No.
I said it'd be cool.
What did we watch the other day where Thunder and Lightning? Oh,
I think
Thunder. That was the
card game.
Yesterday. Go ahead. Ask me the question.
Is it okay? Or is it a thunder stiller?
No, it's not a thunder stiller.
Because this was totally your idea. And it was wonderful. When you said you were going to change the question, I'm like, no, it's such a good question. And then you told me the question you were going to ask. And it was like, okay, that's a good question. Now you'll have to change the word because I just heard it in my head. And the way I was about to ask you, it makes it sound like I'm asking you, what's the last time you masturbated? So you might have to work with the word, the verbiage with it. How... like, how are you, oh my gosh, I can only think to say, you're clean it up. How, in what ways are you, it totally sounds like I'm asking you about masturbation. I don't know how to say it. How many times a day are you, how are you giving yourself, showing yourself self-love? How are you loving yourself? Baby, how can I ask the question? I'm lost. This was such a great idea for you to be the first one to get asked the question.
Yeah, there was no thunder stilling here.
Shut up. Give me the verbiage that doesn't sound like you're
What are some ways and some practices that you have in your everyday life where you focus on and implement self-love?
Now
right?
Answer. Yes. Great.
That's a good way.
That is a good way. You need to streamline
that way.
It doesn't sound like
I don't think there's any part of that makes people think of masturbation.
Every way I came up with sounded like that.
Yeah. No.
I'm never going to be able to ask that question.
It's been a while since I've masturbated. A few days. So the whole idea behind the question is the importance of self-love, the importance of doing things for yourself that are beneficial, that are healthy, that are simple, everyday practices. So I think it's a really good thing to ask everybody that comes on the podcast. So then that way, once again, Barb, the listener, can get some ideas on things that she can implement and some stuff like that. So what am I doing? All of last month, pretty much, from the span of like mid-November until yesterday. I took it easy on myself. I let myself off the hook in regards to so many different things. And that might seem like a cop-out, because what that entailed me doing is like not loving myself to some degree, like not putting myself, I'm getting lost in it. So what I did was literally just let myself off the hook. I wasn't overly hard on myself. I relaxed. I didn't have I just didn't fucking care that I wasn't doing anything to be a better version of myself in that moment. And that lasted for about a month, where I wasn't really doing anything to be a better version of who I was, other than just being relaxed and present. And I didn't do that consciously with awareness, and I didn't really have awareness of it until the very end of the month. And then I realized, oh wait, I've been doing this for a while. And then it was like, oh yeah, I so just needed that moment to breathe and relax and not feel put upon by myself to constantly be bettering myself. And that was a big act of self-love, even though part of it was kind of not self-conscious, subconscious, because I wasn't really aware that that's what I was doing. So don't do shit would be my recommendation, Barb. Don't put a big burden on yourself to constantly keep up with some standard inside your head that you have only designated as success and you have only set ahead or set out for yourself. Just relax. But some things that I'm going to be doing moving forward. I thought somebody was pulling up in front of our house. I don't know what I'm going to be doing moving forward, other than just the stuff that I've always done and the things that I really started to implement last year on a regular basis. Those are things that I'm going to continually do. And you're like, well, what are those things? I'm like, I don't know. But it's consciousness, it's mindfulness, it's being aware, it's being committed to the practice and the art of slowing down and connecting to who I am and expressing those feelings and those emotions with the people that I love around me, and then listening, just fucking listening to what they have to say. What about you, babe? When's the last time you masturbated?
Oh. How long have we been doing this podcast today?
This episode?
Uh-huh. About 5 minutes before that started. Just kidding.
We started recording at 8:20 this morning. The last masturbation session was at 8:12.
My hands are tired.
Self-love.
I know. I'm asking you it. Well, I was trying to ask you it, but it didn't go over very well. I don't think you were supposed to turn it on me.
What's one of the things that you want to get back to the practice of?
What makes you think I'm out of practice?
I don't think you're out of practice.
If you say I know you are. I want to get back to not having to boy. I want to get back to feeling like I want to get back to enjoying the sunrise. So I watched that yesterday and felt it, and there's something pretty significant that happens with the sunrise. So I want to get back to seeing that every day and finding it so beautiful that I get lost and either feel alive or get moved to tears. And I want to get back to feeling the sunrises. And I am not going to elaborate anymore for this episode on that.
Podcast over.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you for listening, Barb. And we will see you next week on the Energy is Love podcast, where we review all 3 episodes, or all 3, fuck.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where we review Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
We're not really going to do that.
And we will play a drinking game of how many times I can get Craig to say meta next episode. So have your drink of choice ready, because
drink of choice. I love you.
I love you.
Podcast out. I feel like a better version of who I am right now than I did at the beginning of 2018.
You can leave things with the fire. The fire does things that heals inside you, and it takes things. You get to leave things to be healed on the fire. I love you, Barb.